8 teams walk in, and we are cutting them down to 4 today for Oz. As well, we are taking our quarterfinals here at the Pinnacle Cup number 4. I'm Fi. I'm joined by Wild DD by my side to take away our first set of quarterfinals of the day. It's going to be Tyloo taking on Team Finest.
Things are going to be really interesting today because, honestly, Fi, I think we've got so many different narratives to dig into. I mean, Tyloo versus Team Finest, I'd rather say team that almost makes it to the major, but not quite when it comes to Tyloo, and that's probably their Achilles heel, and also the one thing that they can rely on at the same time. It's a double-edged sword, and we're about to find out what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think let's go ahead and take a look at our matchups throughout the day before we dive into this one in particular, because first things first, we are going to take a look at Tyloo versus Team Finest, but there are also plenty of other games going down. But this also provides some important pretext to our side of the bracket, as Finest just yesterday took down major semi-finalist Team Spirit in the round of 16. I just want to hear your quick thoughts on this before everything goes down, because it made the rounds on Twitter for sure. But is there a reason to believe in Team Finest after that win?
Alright, so I think there's two ways we can look at it. Sure, you can give Finest the credit for it, right? You beat a team that just came out of the major, they were coming out swinging, but at the end of the day, I think Spirit have sort of proven themselves to be a team that can really pop off on LAN. Does that translate to online? I'm not too sure about that, and to expect Spirit to have a lights-out performance in an online tournament after they just came out of a major, I think that match was a lot more important for Finest than it was for Spirit. Not taking any credit away, but as Team Finest progresses, this is just the first stepping stone to greatness.
Yeah, and just so later on in the day, our next quarterfinal, we will be taking on this. Will be me and Faraz on Eternal Fire versus SKADE. We also have B&E taking the stage today. Awesome to see them back in competition, as well as a Latin brawl. I can't say Latin American, but you know, both Spanish-speaking teams fighting it off in Isurus taking on Movistar Riders. But let's go ahead and dive on in to Tyloo versus Team Finest. Tyloo, you said they came so close to making it to the major, but props to IHC. They made it, grinded themselves out. And I think still, despite going 0-3, IHC still did pretty well. But either way, Tyloo, they are coming into this one absolutely, well, reformed. We're still getting a look at the new Bentet lineup. But, you know, maybe their dominance here in at least the Asian space is waning, but it's good to see them traveling out to EU to fix things up.
Alright, so the problem with this whole scenario is that Bentet, he was there for the RMRs, right? They end up losing to IHC. Great job from IHC, of course, but that's not a loss they should have taken. And on top of that, they botched a 13-2 lead against Renegades when they had one more chance to make it through the RMRs. When you botch 2 different games like that, that means that there's a bottleneck that needs a stopgap in your team, and Bentet didn't quite cut it in the short term. But there is, of course, a silver lining to this. Perhaps Bentet hadn't been around for long enough for him to truly cement himself in the team, and that's a pretty fair assessment to make. I mean, if you're Bentet, you've only been around for a couple months, and those scenarios where you're up 13-2, of course you're going to have those moments when you choke because your team doesn't have all the nitty-gritty polish just yet.
Right, and now taking a look at Team Finest, you know, a team that's kind of been memed on for not having a lineup, like a set lineup for at least like a month or so, but this one coming into it, they add in Pleasant and Twist. And, well, I think this one, I mean, it sticks a little bit. We already talked about that Team Spirit victory. Could they become a semi-finalist here at the Pinnacle Cup IV?
Yeah, I think they definitely have a really good chance, especially because Pleasant and Twist sort of have the same benefit of doubt scenario that Bentet does. Perhaps it's going to get a lot better as they spend more time in the team. But we are going to head straight to the Veto, see how things are going to roll out.
Let's go ahead and check into this. A Tyloo ban for Nuke. That's something that they've been enjoying as of late. A Vertigo pick for Tyloo. You know, it's the one map that really, you know, the 13-2 kind of happened last time. But there's been a lot of time spent between now and then. So they're gonna go and pick it up. I'm a fan of the Dust 2 pick. I mean, I like Dust 2. For Finest, but honestly, considering the type of team that we know Tyloo to be, so individually based, could that play against Team Finest in this series?
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think definitely with the meta changes on Dust 2, I mean, sure, they're starting to get a little old now. It is a lot more reliant on teamwork, but there's always going to be that raw aim capability that can pull through when it comes to a map like Dust 2, especially with the very long-range angles. You can have down middle, have down long. So I think Tyloo definitely has a lot going with this kind of map pool, but if it gets too ancient, you know what? That's always going to be a coin flip for me until that map is 5 years old, because this map needs a lot of changes, okay? It's always going to be a coin flip. It's going to be difficult to predict that, but while we're talking about Vertigo, you know what? There's a lot of time that has passed since their 13-2 choke. You mentioned it, and there's a good reason you did, because Tyloo, now they've got a chance to go back to the drawing board. They've got a couple of months, and maybe they finally plugged the hole that was making their boat leak. But let's see how this one's going to roll out. Is it another choke? Is it a Grand Slam victory? We're about to find out as we roll on to server.
Let's get into this thing. Vertigo. You know, a map. Last time they played this map here for Tyloo in an official, it wasn't all that pretty. You can check out the Pinnacle odds. Favoring Team Finest quite heavily, in fact. I think a lot of folks believe in this squad, but let's see if Tyloo can make the difference happen. Very individually based team, a lot of firepower that's laden on them. I think people definitely forget about that sometimes. Let's see how they stack up versus Finest, taking away in the pistol. A little bit of a mid-push to start off, and I think we're going for a fast B split here for Oz. You want to put your chips there? I think we're going to get it.
Yeah, and Narc is about to have a big task ahead of himself as he sees the smoke piling through. He's been locked out, but he can make his way through the curtains. Oh, that's a juicy little stack of nades, shocks, and twists. They quickly demolish the competition, and it comes down to slowly an attacker. And there's honestly not much of a say they can have in this conversation, because Finest, that was about as fine as it gets.
What a pistol round strategy put together by Finest. Buy 2 nades and absolutely just own. I mean, on the B side, it's there to stop a rush, but how about you just use it both on towards Plat? I've never seen a pistol round like that. What a unique way to get the opener there for Team Finest. Nate stack prepped and primed, and all right, if that's the tempo they're going to set for this game, I am absolutely loving it. But right now, you're getting full eco territory and a couple players out towards the ramp. You know, I think your one goal here is just to make sure the MP9s don't get all the kills, but that's already one unsuccessful thing. But yeah, Pleasant, get all the kills you can. Slowly's off to the hills, trying to find an M4. But yeah, this is going to be progressed here. My Team Finest. But one thing I will say is, well, getting off to this early start right now for Finest is such a massive thing, especially getting the AWP into the hands of Anarchez. You know, I think as in terms of a player for Anarchez, he's kind of been superseded by his Israeli brethren. Spinks and Flames are probably in better places that he is, but don't miss out on the OG. I think he's been in EU long before those prodigies have been into play. So I'm looking forward to Anarchez getting an AWP out, but first things first, we have a bonus.
Absolutely, and if that first round was a precedent for how Finest are going to play this one out, Tyloo are going to have a very difficult time making it through this map, but the T side is generally where they shine. Tyloo playing it a little slower, but they eventually get their mittens on to middle, and Narchez playing from the back lines, allowing them to walk in. They're going to have to check a lot of angles, and Narchez comes out on top. Already a man down, but there's a minute and 20 on the clock. Look at where Shocks is. He's about to hit a home run, misses a few shots, but he's able to recover, and that's the bomb down as well. Attacker and Summer, now they've got to get it all done by themselves, and with a minute on the clock, sure, they've got some time to play, but Finest, they've got the tools to make it happen.
Oh, never mind. Anarchez is going to run down Attacker. Doesn't even give me a chance to speak. It's only Summer. 1v5.
Listen, man, you weren't the only person that had their voice stolen from them, okay? Tyloo did not even get a chance to voice their concerns. They've been preemptively naded out. They've been baited by Shocks. They've had a push happen to them, and that's only the span of 3 rounds. So, man, what's going on here?
If you're not surprised, if you're wondering what Tyloo's playstyle is, you kind of get a taste of it right there. Slowly pushing aggressively into spawn, more or less on a solo mission. If he wins the duel, absolutely massive. So much space taken. But that round hinges on the 1v1 there for that particular moment. And then you can see at least the reaction is trying to be attempted there from Tyloo. They think that they must be having a concerted effort to hold down middle. The Shock's still on the off angle, and eco territory again here for Tyloo. It ain't pretty.
Honestly, that play from Shocks, that was such a unique position to be in, because generally it's such a one-and-done spot where you guarantee that the gun's going to be given up, you guarantee that you're going to lose your life, and in that kind of scenario, if he can bait them into crossing, that is wonderful. Tyloo, not off to a great start, honestly.
Yeah.
Considering they had a much better Vertigo back in the RMRs.
Oh, okay. But we'll give it 1-1D to
right,
close it out. But what I do want to shout out, at least for Tyloo, is their utilization of mid so far. You rarely ever see a team touch mid on the T side. It's just, we're going to go for fast ramp control. We're going to put the pressure onto the A site. And we're going to try and work this mid control. We're trying to get some splits, try and run as a spawn. But at least for Finest, their I think their two-man ramp setup has yet to be tested. Because if you're running 2 players towards ramp, generally speaking on the CT side, you can't really fight for it. But let's see how things are different here to start this off, as Shocks tries to make the Chaos jump down into B stairs,
so
goes down 3v5 all of a sudden, and this is a different set of openers here for Tyloo.
And the fact that Attacker and Summer have managed to get them in 2 one-on-one duels, that's a bit surprising when you consider the setup of Finest. But Anarchist, he wants to make that AWP work, make it a little bit harder to chew this piece off. Summer, though, getting another piece on the board. Pleasant doesn't allow them to easily move forward, but Anarchist, I think he's already making the call mentally to back off with this AWP unless he can get an early shot off.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to try to attempt this. I mean, there is a world of possibility, a realm, perhaps, if he tried to make an aggressive play up towards the platform, but I mean, this guy's the definition of a playmaking AWP. You want to keep this thing in play, keep the money good for the CT side. All things considered, prior to this round, Tyloo had only had 2 kills total across the team. So the money for Team Finest is in perfect stead at the moment. So no big deal. They'll drop around. They're not getting 16-0, I'll tell you that. But for Finest, they're chilling.
Yeah, generally you don't see the CT side in a position where they can comfortably have a couple players on 10k by the time they're on round 5. And Tyloo's inability to get kills all across those first 3 rounds, I think that's something that's going to come back to bite them. Especially with Anarchist saving this AWP, and there's going to be a lot more money to be distributed basically for the next couple of rounds. They're going to have that insurance policy. I'm not sure if Tyloo can immediately reclaim that space as the T side generally would.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, that round, I'm not going to say it's necessarily a brilliancy from Tyloo, but Team Finest did go for a bit of B stairs aggression, and when you run into a 3-man setup, basically, for Tyloo, who are also trying to work their own control, it didn't quite work out. This time around, though, we're finally going to see Tyloo's version, potentially, of ramp control. Gotta always be aware of the smoke spam, though. Pleasant is always looking for targets, and a wondrous grenade.
It's not good.
Onto Danking.
It's just a matter of waiting out the smokes for Tyloo. They're going to have to wait for Finest to finish up their utility, and in the meantime, Narcos is actually pushed up quite close as well, so there's a lot of information that's going to be happening on middle.
This is a nasty setup right now for Finest. They still have 3 players held here towards ramp. If Tyloo try to retake this, they are going to be in for a lot of pain. And when Slowly gets taken down in middle, that is only going to embolden Tyloo to keep pushing forward. And Anarchist is looking for heads.
Such a difficult spot to be in. You can barely see the other head, but Shocks, he's gained so much space by aggressing with that AWP on middle. If you're in Tyloo's shoes, you cannot expect that double AWP so early on. They feel a little comfortable moving up the ramp, but they shouldn't be because there's 3 players waiting on the other end.
Oh, thinking about it, Kriaz just playing around the corner. Again, the 3-man setup still held in. Then they'll choose their move. A 1-for-1, though. They can still fight here for Tyloo.
Oh, that's a difficult spot to be in for Anarchist. He's being flushed out with the Molotov, but Pleasant is left unchecked. Oh, no. He misses a spray, and that is a big mess up because Bandit is allowed to reign supreme. Shocks and twists. Now they've got to go for the retake. The Molotov only hinders the possibility of progression a little bit before they can finally start to move in. Bomb starts to go down, but through the smoke, bullet meets head, and Twist quickly pivots himself in a position to take another shot. Shox trying to chime into the battle, but now it comes down to the 1 versus 2. Twist needs to make something happen. Through the smoke, around the box, he's got to find some kind of avenue to approach from.
Oh, Twist, though. Can you anticipate Summer up top? Maybe he made some noise down on the drop. Twist could be able to isolate some duels. Summer looking to take the fight, but now he'll be able to run away. And Twist, in a bit of a bind here in this 1v2, has so much against him.
This is getting better for him. He gets to get closer to his enemies. At least he's fast to smoke. He gets the first shot off, but Dan King will be able to deliver. 4-2, and Tyloo just scraped by. That
is defying the odds there, Tyloo, in that round, which is just obscene. They're facing down into a 3-man ramp setup. Team Finest anticipated the reclear. They had the right read, but you gotta convert those if you're Pleasant. And also Benta, you know, let's not take that away from it. An excellent conversion on this. The spray for one and then spins around for the other. But Pleasant unable to convert a single frag out of that is absolutely massive for Tyloo and absolutely a detriment to Finest. But they still have to buy to work with. And Tyloo, again, this time around, it's faster towards ramp. This time they can catch Finest off guard.
And they also don't have the firepower they did previously. They don't have that double op, and they've invested so much of their money. They lose Krias to Bantet early on, and Bantet has consistently been a menace for Finest. Pleasant trying to play up close, perhaps find something around the smoke, but Tyloo, they're being smart about this. They're not immediately biting onto the bait that's been set out by Finest. Slowly gets a second shot off, and that is already so many avenues to approach from being opened up for Tyloo.
But Anarchus in towards middle. 4 players coming his way. And there's 2. Incredible from Anarchus to bring it back as well for Finest. So that 2v3, it's still a very playable round. Twist has also pushed in towards the bottom of B stairs. Still, both of these players are so individually capable. And Twist, he hears the footsteps of them going back in towards Forklift. He knows. Surely he's telling Shox this, but of course Shox has to keep eyes on the back of his head too. You have no idea where the remaining Tyloo players are. But give a Shox a 1v1. This man known for his headshot percentage. He'll definitely bring the fight to you if you're Tyloo. Let's see what Shox can do.
Yeah, time ticking down, though. He's going to have to do something fast. Almost catches the first player, but now they've got to watch out for Twist and Attacker. Well, they don't even get a chance to say anything. 4-3, and Tyloo, they're inching closer. And you know what? When we started off with the first couple of rounds, we thought they weren't going to be able to recover that quickly, but Finest's initial impressiveness when it came to keeping the rounds clean was offset by their hasty economic decisions immediately after.
Alright, so let's jump back into things here. Finest, finally their money has been broken. Tyloo looking to get off on a good start, but Pleasant, what a deagle headshot. Can another come through? It's not coming in for Summer, but Twist still in the close corner. Will be checked, unfortunately. But
yeah, what are you even gonna do, right? I mean, you've got pistols.
Yeah, it's not
Except
pretty. At this,
that can be something special.
Okay, but wait, Krias with that Attacker though. Oh, he's about to drop. There we go. Love to see it.
That's gotta feel satisfying, right? That's like such a matchmaking thing to happen. Everyone lines up, nice and easy, comfortable. They don't have any armor either, so nice way to tie things up. And Tyloo, they're slowly getting back in the driver's seat now.
Yeah, 4 rounds on the trot, finally testing that A ramp side, and you're seeing I mean, at least in the gun round, you definitely saw what the individuals could do, just absolute fiending headshots. I think Tyloo, in terms of the firepower they bring to the table, boy, are they a flashy team. So Finest, they certainly have to be about their wits. They have to take fights in their favor. They cannot afford to give these Tyloo players 1v1s, or they could be quickly out of commission. This time around, Tyloo working the B stairs side. Now losing Attacker, though. Do you feel paranoid? A lot of teams, when they lose this opening kill, they just want to hit the gas wherever they are on the map. But that would be a near-death sentence. There are 3 players in close proximity, and Twist, oh, he should know there's a player boosted up.
No.
There should certainly be an inkling that this aggression is forthcoming, and there's a 3-man setup here waiting.
That's a tough position. Shox gets the first kill. Twist wants to add to that tally, and he's going to keep them back. I mean, you said it. They wanted to hit the gas, but even after their meticulous approach to it, they're going to have a tough time getting through. Dan King, he makes things a little bit easier, chipping away at the line of defense, but, I mean, at this point, what can Tyloo even do?
You gotta hunt for this kill, though. Tyloo, another frag for themselves, low HP. You can't peek in a Dan King, though.
That bomb is just the biggest thorn in their side, honestly.
Yeah, that's not gonna help out. 2 kills come on through for Finest. 5-4 up and running. Tyloo, again, you're pressured to hit the gas when you lose the opener on the other side of the map. You just don't really feel comfortable. You don't know what the CTs are doing. The map just turns, a dark fog just takes over that one part of the map. And when you're Team Finest, well, at least, rather, when you're Tyloo, you don't know if they've taken full bottom ramp control, so you just don't feel comfortable retaking that part of the map. They're saying, okay, let's just put our chips on the table. Let's just go and try and hit this B site. And there's a 3-man setup waiting. It ain't gonna work out. I mean, you're just forced to take a gamble there when you're in that 4v5. You don't know the space the CT is taken. So, Tyloo, well, they falter just a tad bit. But, okay. Let's see what they have to bring to the table for yet another round. I think their fast ramp control has definitely worked out. In fact, you know, the way to counter ramp control on the CT side, and that's what has become the meta on Vertigo, is the 3-man A start. Let's see if Finest bring it to this one. It seems like they are. So, if Tyloo goes for a fast ramp play, we are going to have a bit of a brawl. It's only 2 players this time around, though. Krias is still going to fight anyways, though. He will back away. And now Plessen, maybe he'll have his turn.
And I'm pretty sure they want to go for it. Finest, they've consistently used utility to leverage better duels. Krias does it again.
Wow.
And before Tyloo can even step foot, they've already lost 2 men. How are they going to make this happen with 1 minute and 25 seconds on the clock? All the utility, all the firepower in the world in the hands of Finest. And you know what? Plessen is smurfing right now.
Yeah, what an absolute way to redeem yourself. Plessen, you know, earlier on in this half, whiffs a potential double kill, and he'll quickly transition that one into a triple kill. An absolutely magnificent round from the individuals of Team Finest. We talk about having to have a 3-man A setup to stop a rush. Who needs mollies? They got frags. Krias and Plessen single-handedly locked down ramp. And Finest with the flawless, they're up and running. Tyloo back down to Deagles. Finest are looking good to start piecing together a massive lead here on Vertigo.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you've got Tyloo down to pistols, but this, of course, gives us a bit of a chance to dive into what Finest has really been doing, right? But Finest, they've... sure, you can chalk it down to some of those individuals popping off like Plessen, but the majority of their early control has come off of excellent use of utility and being able to gain control on parts of the map whenever Tyloo's not aware of them. So you saw Shox previously push down middle. You've seen Krias consistently be able to contest ramp, use smokes, use mollies to keep them at bay, and they've been doing it with meticulous timing. It's not like they've been jumping the gun on utility, and that's basically allowed them to get away with a free pass. And you know what, Five? Sure, I wanted to mention that, but we knew what was coming.
Yeah, we knew it was happening. I think it's just comedy.
If you see Spider-Man about to come through your window, you're going to have an audible gasp, right? But if it's a fly, you don't even bother looking towards the window.
Yeah, it's a little bit of comedy there thrown in towards the end. Turned into the clay pigeon simulator there for Tyloo. But all right, back on the buy. Not a lot of utility, all things considered, for this T side. Not all the flashes and the widgets you'd want. It's going to come down a lot to the opening duel here for Tyloo and see where they place their forces. That's an interesting smoke that actually goes towards the bottom of ramp. I like this utility usage being brought out by Finest. But in the meantime, Tyloo, they're not going to go for their fast ramp play again. They don't want to get bulldozed once more by Plessen and Krias. This Swedish duo has been tearing it up, to say the least. So Tyloo are going to bring their sights back to middle, but no one's actually really home here for Finest. They're more or less putting themselves into a 3B stack. Only now is Twist put in charge of the middle position.
If you're in the shoes of Tyloo, you've got to be feeling a little unlucky, right? I mean, sure, they don't know that yet, but Finest have had really good responses to wherever Tyloo's going to be. Just, even a couple times by pure luck, just having the right setup for that particular moment. But this is one time where Tyloo might actually come out on top, but the flash is going to be perfect. Oh no, it actually misses out, and Kriaz gets taken off the back of Plessen's flashbang itself, but Plessen has to make up for his efforts. Bantet gets taken down and he has to retreat. The tails have been tucked and he wants to go back to the bomb site so he can allow his teammates to rotate in. Slowly in the meantime, he wants to find something on middle. He can choose to go towards B, he can choose to recuperate the defenses towards A. Oh yeah, he's going all the way around. He wants
20 seconds
the
though.
biggest slice of the pie.
Wait, they don't have the bomb! No one has the bomb with 10. Oh, no. They don't have the bomb.
How does that even happen?
They don't have time.
I don't think any of them realize that either. They're pushing in willy-nilly. They're wondering, where's the bomb? Where do we press the digits in? You're clicking, you're wondering, you're thinking of where the bomb might potentially be, but in the nick of time, Finest have got it, and Plessen, he could have been taken down there, but they can't find him.
I don't know what to say, man. Oh my, if there hasn't been anything that is sometimes what we call a Tyloo moment. There's been a lot of, my gosh.
Honestly, man,
bomb and spawn. They didn't have time. Believe it or not, they actually almost won the round on kills. Like, don't get me.
Yeah, the fact that it comes down to Plessen even, how does Plessen even get away with that, right? For a second there, I thought Finest was about to make the biggest misplay they could this game, and that Plessen was about to go down, but instead he's just like, no, I'm a baller. I'm actually, this is my little brother's account. I'm actually here to smurf. I killed 3 players here.
I mean, if you're Team Finest, it's the last thing you expect is that your opponent left the bomb and spawn, so you're still fighting to win the round. But, oh dear. Well, Plessen got given a gift. Team Finest got given a gift. I mean, hey, despite not having the bomb, those entries from Tyloo were pretty nuts. And, I mean, they're still keeping up. They can still click heads really well. Next time, though, let's get the bomb, and let's go ahead and plant it on the site. All nice and dandy. All right, let's make a mutual agreement to get that one done. Still, I think Tyloo, they can still definitely fight in this one. Let's see what the Deegs can do. Not much utility, but I'm sure a Tyloo player would love to hand out a headshot or two.
Yeah, with Attacker on the AK, I'm sure he's going to get at least a kill off of that. That's what the players are known for. I think hero AKs are probably some of the most dangerous weapons that Tyloo can have. But Finest, I honestly don't see a world where Tyloo can get away with this particular round. Yeah, you see the
flank from Twist already down and towards lower B. Like, they've actually just cut off Tyloo. They cannot rotate right now. So, there's 3 players here, and Anarch is one of them. Bye-bye. Looking for extra.
Oh. Ooh, I love that little micro movement where he gets up on top of the cone just to be able to have a different angle to work with. I love that. So difficult to pre-fire, but you know what? The cleaning duties have been brought in, the janitorial services here, and shouldn't be too long before summer's over.
Summer hasn't even begun yet for Oz. Well,
listen, man. When you're from Pakistan, I'm going to use the Pakistan card here. When you're from Pakistan, it's always summer.
Well, if you're in SoCal, it's always summer. Let's be real here as well.
Do you guys have temperatures up to 50 Celsius? Probably not.
What is that? What is Celsius?
50. Oh, God.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for Oz.
The conversion, the Fahrenheit, the arbitrary numbers.
50 Celsius. What does that convert
to? The imperial
system.
How
about this one, though? This round's probably hotter than that. Fast up to ramp to kick this one off for Tyloo. And finally, you know, for once in a while, we don't actually have an engagement on ramp. More or less, it's actually going to be control conceded for once here by Finest. We might actually have an execute on our hands. Depends on what Anarchist has to say about that, though. Bringing 4 players to the party to retake it, and it works perfect.
That's a bit sly, the way they're able to get those 2 kills, man.
Mid and B is open, though.
Yeah, that gives you a lot of space. You would think so, but then Shox just comes in. Easy frag for the man, and Dan King is slowly now, they're huddling about. They're looking for something, and once again, the bomb's out in the open. So what does Dan King do? It's not like he can tuck that AWP in his back pocket and carry it over to the next round, so he's probably just going to have to walk into his death. And right now, Tyloo, they've got to be getting a bit desperate. How are these kills even happening? I mean, over towards ramp. Attacker, he gets killed for basically free. I'm not even sure how Shox managed to get that second kill. And sure, that's a little bit of damage, but now Finest are all fine and dandy. Last round, you've got 10k on everyone. Tyloo struggling, scraping about for pennies. This is not looking good, man.
Yeah, I mean, at least for side of Tyloo, I mean, they have the hope and prayer of a CT side coming up. At least Vertigo all of a sudden has turned into one of the most CT-sided maps in the pool. Strangely enough, in recent times, just because, hey, when that's the meta changes. How about this change of pace? Zanking with the opener, looking to transition that into a full play.
Oh, that's a ballsy play, moving straight through the molly, and there's no way Shox expects this kind of pacing. He immediately gets traded off, and there it is, a 3 versus 5. One of the very rare scenarios where Finest is actually playing off the back foot. How are they going to try to get back into this side? Danking is low, so there's at least something going for them, but as the flames start to tick away, they've got to make a play now. They've got a couple smokes and a flashbang to work with, but smokes aren't as useful as that one flash that they're going to have to leverage just to be able to get onto the site. Plastin waiting for it, wants to look for Danking, manages to get one spray transfers, but it doesn't matter. Anarchis immediately gets the second shot off. Bantet and Summer, they've got to hold on for dear life. Summer makes their lives even harder, and Narc is one-on-one, but there's got to be no time.
No, there is!
And there it is. Is there? Is there time? There can't be 5 seconds.
Yeah, there is, buddy!
That was barely... No.
No
I'm
way.
pretty sure Tyloo were convinced.
Oh, dear.
I mean, I was convinced, and I've got X-ray.
Milliseconds to spare, too, dude. How?
First of all, you've got to tell me what kind of calculator you got up in there in your noggin, because,
I played a lot of retakes, alright?
Okay.
I know what the beeping sounds like when it's at 5 seconds and when it's not.
Listen, man, I've got 7,000 hours, and I still can't line up a Mirage mid-smoke, so I'll trust you from here on out.
Alright, but let's kick this one off with the pistols. Trust me on this one. Tyloo are in a bit of a bind, but you know what? CT sides can still play to their advantage, but they need the pistol. Let's be real here. And 4 players, attacker's way. Oh boy.
Oh, did he not spot that head?
He spotted that one.
To start things off, but they're moving on to the side already. Plastin gets the opener, and Twist, he's in a really good position to be able to leverage a kill, but in the meantime, there's a lot of chaos happening that results with the bomb dropping into Summer's front pocket. All he's got to do is keep them off of it. The Hounds want to reclaim it, but Plastin, boy oh boy, what are you even going to do in this kind of position?
Yeah, 1v3.
Yeah, that is just messy.
You even have the molly to back it up here for top. Hold on, 1v2. Oh my.
Be good. You're losing HP. You're still within the realms of possibility, trying to line up a headshot. He knows where the bomb is. He knows where the targets are. He's just got to line up the bullets, but he wants a bit of a reset. Goes all the way around, gets the bullets back in order. That's the second headshot, and Plastin might actually be able to do it. 3K for the man, getting ready to line up the fourth, and slowly he's panicking. He's sweating. And all he's got to do, Plastin, you bad boy. 4 kills, and he's able to find a needle to thread in that scenario.
Oh man, what a 1v3 as well. But Tyloo, oh boy, that is a way to play a 1v3. You think you got the round in your palm of your hand, but Plastin just has annihilated. You know, once he whiffed that little 2-piece on ramp. He has not turned back since. Tyloo force buying. They gotta win this. Lose this, and well, I'm just gonna call it quits here for Tyloo on their map pick.
Honestly, Plastin's just having an amazing game right now. He is by far playing the best on the server. He's getting every single shot he's intending. He's sort of willing this game into a 16-4 potentially. And Tyloo, they are up against the ropes. They've got very few moves to fight back with, and with this kind of economic position, they're probably looking at a 14 already. And when you've already been in a position where you've choked a 13-2 lead against a team like Renegades, I think there's got to be that mental stress of it, right? Yeah. I think at this point you start counting your, you start cutting your losses. You start thinking how that dust 2 is gonna go, but.
Yeah, that poor Summer isn't gonna be escaping that. I mean, you know, I think there's some situations where Tyloo still have yet to, like, iron themselves out. I'm going to tell you that 1v3, I'm going to be critical and say that 1v3 was far from perfectly played from the defending side of the bomb.
Especially because they weren't really in positions to be able to utilize the fact that there are 3 people, right?
Yeah.
They're not trying to take a different angle. In fact, just running away from the bomb would have literally been a better play.
I know. I mean, genuinely speaking, there are certain ways where you can play this clutch. Attacker will survive. But just to leave that one out there. But there are ways you can play that clutch where you can actually, you know, give up the bomb and just say, okay, we'll play a 1v3 retake. Like, we can all wide swing together. But the thing is those kind of angles let the likes of Pleasant dice up the duels, and it makes it really difficult to double peek when you have 2 players on low HP. So, I mean, there's a world where that clutch is played differently, and Tyloo are in this game. But now you're down to full
Absolutely,
eco.
I think
14-4 is looking likely.
That was almost a testament to how bad the micro communication is right now on Tyloo. It was almost as if they're panicking and they're like, let's just kill him, okay? Let's just get this duel over, but just shoot at him, right? Instead of going for like this laid back, calculated play where you're like, all right, we'll go the long way around, we'll wait the bomb out. But you know what? Enough about that round, because there's a lot more at play. I mean, Tyloo, they've got that 1 MP9 on the attacker. What can we even expect out of that? This has gotta just be a firing gallery. They've got all their chips on A, but despite that, they're only gonna have a bit of damage come off of that. Vantage being surprisingly annoying, by the way. Not gonna take any credit away from that, but 14-4. Tyloo, they've got a 2-round insurance policy to bring it back into this game, and even then, playing the overtime, playing the other side once again, there are too many odds that are against Tyloo right now, Fi.
Too much really playing against here for Tyloo. They got 1 gun round here on this ET side. Just 1. I mean, they could make it more. You know, playing rounds of Counter-Strike. It's not just a privilege, it is earned. Looking to take that privilege away. Oh yeah, it's Kriaz. 1 for 1. Summer, what do you got?
Oh?
Whoa.
Could have been a lot more. That collateral looked dangerous. I'm not gonna lie about that, Fi. But he doesn't manage to do enough. Pleasant, that Molotov's going to be dangerous. And now with only 3 players remaining, Tyloo once again on the back foot, up against the ropes. They've got to pull out a few punches. Molotov doesn't do much to prevent the bomb from being planted. Dan King gives away his position, and it's just a matter of time ticking down. The metaphorical Grim Reaper is looming around his head, misses the shot, and the scythe will take his head clean off.
Well, folks, it was nice knowing you here on Vertigo. 15-4. Kind of have to throw everything at the wall. I think a couple of minute micro situations that really cost Tyloo this game. So plenty of little situations where you iron out the clutch, it works out well. Leaving the bomb in spawn, when you don't have time to even win the round, that hurts. I mean, there's just so many different things that could have played out differently. This game could be different, but we're getting the same old here in round number 20. It's done and dusted here.
What is there to even talk about? I mean, the only thing I can think of right now is how Pleasant has basically been a god this game. I mean, if there were more rounds, I'm sure he would have been on a 30 bomb, but Dan King, it's just a matter of living on borrowed time. Finally gets closed out, and 16-4. Finest landslide victory against Tyloo, and it seems like Tyloo's Vertigo woes will not go away just yet. But we'll be back in just a bit to see how they can contest Finest on Dust 2 to potentially bring it back. Stay tuned.
Paying online with AstroPay is really simple. From the merchant site, choose AstroPay as your payment option. Then, type your mobile number, enter the confirmation code, and select your preferred payment method. If you choose to pay with AstroPay Wallet, good for you, select it and you are ready. If you choose another payment option, follow the steps on screen. Your online payment is completed. Get the app in your favorite store or visit us at www.astropay.com.
Well, map number 1 was a little bit of a doozy for us, but now Dust 2 and a fast mid play. You know what? No time to break this one down. Let's have fun.
Oh yeah, Summer's already in. He's in the camp, boys. You gotta get him out. And there's a second person there. Reinforcements have arrived, but it's quickly come down with 2 versus 2. How does that even happen? Slowly an attacker on the CT side. They have given up their comrades, and now it's all down to these aim duels. And Narkis, he's got a couple pieces of utility, but I'd be willing to say that the armor is going to be a lot better in this kind of scenario. Not a single armored player here. Pleasant gets spotted, wants to go the long way around, especially because they know where the bomb is. These couple of pieces of utility, now, this is where they start to become very important as slowly moves in with the dualies onto shore.
All right, 2v2, but still decent position. Dualies could tap away, potentially at 1. And Arcus, though, is armorless. Both players are armorless, keep in mind, so it might not even require headshots here for us.
Oh yeah, they've got to get the bomb down. They've got a lot of pressure on them, especially because slowly can very easily mow them down just by virtue of having armor on him. And now here's where the retake happened. Both players moving in from short, and Narcus has to hit these headshots. First one's down. Pleasant uses teammate as bait, and Narcus and Pleasant each get a kill apiece. Finest already off to a great start.
Even though Tyloo, I mean, I do enjoy love the mid-push pistols. It just somehow they just get beaten back as they try to retreat down to the 2v5. So an excellent start here for Summer.
I'm sorry, Five, but you're mistaken there. That wasn't an attempt at retreating and messing that up. No, that was an overcommitment.
You know what? They went all in.
Yeah, that was an overcommitment.
You know what?
Yeah, you can respect the first couple of people pushing in and getting the man advantage, but that was a very Tyloo player there where they still have a lower tunnels player for some reason waiting for the aim duel when he can very easily go back into upper tunnels, maybe have a second player push in from middle to have a fair chance at a duel. You can't allow that kind of kill to go away, especially when you put in so much just to get one advantage.
And well, the woes of Tyloo continue. How many? I should start counting how many rounds straight this is, because it's actually getting up there. It was 4-4 in the previous map, so we are currently on a 12-round winning streak right now for Team Finest. Also, we got some good player cams up and running. We'll see some reactions if a big clutch comes through, or some fun stuff. But I mean, it was smiles for the Finest players towards the end of that map. They know the position.
And for good reason. I mean, for the Tyloo players, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure they're not happy about playing a game that was as long as a Snap story.
That's true. That's a good way to phrase it. About 3 minutes. I think that's the max length for one of those.
I wouldn't know. Nobody Snapchats me. I'm not a very social person.
Same here. Honestly, same. You know what? Same here as well. I'll just say that I used Snapchat for about a couple years, and then no one actually messaged me, so I stopped using the app. RIP. The social life of a Counter-Strike commentator. All right, let's get this one into a little bit of an A play. Just the MAC-10 jumping all over the shop right here for Twist. But he's going to cop a couple grenades. It's best that he probably doesn't leap out into the doom that awaits him, but now combined with a lot of utility here, I think this is set up for success here for Finest.
Can't be too difficult to get onto a bomb site, especially with Bantet exposing himself. So, all right, he gets enough damage in for Dan King to follow up with a kill. Attacker in the meantime, making a dent in the head of Kriaz. And that is getting dicey here. Shocks and Twists both missing out on so much HP. And with barely any HP to work with, they're going to go down. Tyloo somehow managed to catch the ball on this one.
It's a force by victory. I'm not sure. I'm sure that they had an extra smoke there for Team Finest. They were looking to take the gunfights, but Tyloo are all for that. I was missing the ledge smoke for Catwalk that it would have allowed them to easily progress forward, take an isolated duel onto the site. There was a couple of bits and pieces missing there. You can see Danking gets so many opportunities because they're missing that ledge smoke. So I'm surprised why they didn't bring that one to the table there. Forced by victory for Tyloo, and they are, getting ran down. All right, reversal of fate. Guns everywhere to be picked up here for Finest, and Danking has to receive.
Oh, is that really what we're going to see roll down slowly? At least brings it a little closer. Trying to play this little game of tug and war. Dan King brings it to equality. And now it's a matter of hitting the shots as they already enter the site. Galil favors Anarchus' duel, but his enemy backs off. And now they've got to get the bomb down.
Great.
Playing it a bit slower. They know it's a stalemate while the smokes are up. These curtains need to be drawn before a decision is made. Plessen trying to replicate the successes of his previous duels in Vertigo. Is he going to be able to do that?
I like this from Anarchus.
Yeah, trying to push up close, trying to have information on whether or not they're doubling up on short. But with this bomb down, it's going to be tough for Tyloo.
In fact, a better weaponry lands in the hands of the T side here. But the utility still can work out for Tyloo, and MP9 and a MAC-10 can certainly do some damage. But with the bomb ticking, time's already beginning to get to the half. No kits here for Tyloo. They gotta go.
Flash in, unsuccessful. Plessen gets the first headshot. And there is just too much work to be done. Summer can't get more than one, and Narc he doesn't have to worry about anything. Dan King has already packed his bags, and he's at the airport.
Can't take a couple steps forward. Don't go too close to the bomb here, Dan King. All right. You know, if he was at the cat corner, he would have gone down. Trying to get his hands on an M4, but timer runs down. He's gonna be teleported on the way. Forced by Wars, kick this one off though. I'm enjoying this. You know, I think the biggest thing, at least for Finest, they were powered by Pless in that last game. I do want to go over his stats. 26-6 in 20 rounds, a 2.0 rating for Pless in that previous game. I mean, Tyloo are a team that are so firepower based. When you get diffed like that, life's pretty hard. Now out towards long, they're just looking to take the straight gunfights. They have the better weaponry. Why the heck not? And the extra damage as well. So plenty to work with. Lower tunnels control, though, for Tyloo. Will definitely cut one part of the map.
Not like that's going to matter, honestly. They're on the other side.
You know, if Finest take too long, walking up long, there could be a 4-man long setup just established. There is potential. But that hurts the war effort a bit.
But in the meantime, though, I'm starting to agree with you a little bit because there's already 4 members close to the site. Twist expecting it, not letting anyone get up to their shenanigans. Bantet is down. With the inclusion of Dan King, it shouldn't be too long before this round is over for Tyloo. Sticking around surprisingly long, knowing the kind of weaponry they have. I'm not sure how they even managed to stay alive for that long. I'm going to be honest. I was ready to call it. I was going to say that it's already over, but...
Oh, dude, that was a little...
I think we're going to see yet another...
I'll call that overkill. I'll just call it overkill. That was like putting a whale in a puddle right there. He's just a guy in an elevator. Come on.
Yeah, like 4 players jumping on top of him just to shoot him down. That's crazy.
Oh, dude. It's like the security team just trying to catch a running fan at a baseball game. They just dogpile him. Poor lad. 3-1 right now, starting off for Finest, though. You know, I was going to come into this map saying Tyloo genuinely have a chance. It's a map like Dust 2. It's players like Tyloo. Didn't intend for that to rhyme, but here we are. Yeah, maybe the names, they got the rhyming buff, you know? Who knows?
Yeah, you just have a way with words, okay? Fire that was all to you.
I'm just a poet, man. I'll be in English textbooks in 50 years. Trust me, guys. You'll be reading my poetry. It'll be much cooler than that philosophical, you know, stuff that they just force feed
Oh, when you said you were going to be in textbooks 50 years from now, I thought you meant you were going to be decomposed and reused to make books or something.
No,
like
what?
some
What are you
advanced
talking?
recycling, but like honestly, because I don't think you have a chance at a poet. But let's move on. Tyloo.
It's
That's got to be a firing range.
You know,
I mean, yeah, Plessin just padding those stats, spicing them up.
You said it's Tyloo, but now it was Tyloo.
Yeah.
4-1. But you know what? Okay. Tyloo, this is genuinely their first gun round. Like, I think all of these rounds haven't really mattered too much since then. I mean, we've seen some aggressive and confident play from Team Fine. If they can bring that to the table, if they can, stand up to Tyloo, I respect that. But this is their first gun round, and starting things off, looking to at least send one player out to long. That's Summer. Right now, long control just handed over. In fact, a lot of map control. Oh, handed over. What a shot from DanKing to kick off this round.
But he knows. He knows that he can't reaggress. He's got to back off.
Plessin, though.
This AWP is in the perfect hands. I love that read from Plessin, immediately expecting the reaggression with the AWP. And he brings the numbers back together. Flashbang out Summer, aggresses, and he catches Plessin off guard. Pants down. And now 3 versus 4 for Fine, as they've got to make something work on Catwalk. If they can manage to aggress towards A early enough, they can maybe catch Bantet without any reinforcements from the pit player.
Bantet with no util either. But hits the initial shot. Huge there for Bantet. 2v4 now. He can hold this one off single-handedly.
Can he, though? There's a lot of utility coming his way, but the A1S, accurate as ever, twist. Last man remaining on the server. He's going to switch over to an AK. Maybe gamble on having more ammo, but it's going to be a lousy bet anyway. 2-4. Tyloo, is this going to be an actual long-term road to bringing it all together, or are we seeing one more Vertigo?
Well, DanKing has just earned opening kill of the series so far with that shot right there. What a nuclear one. He just bye-bye. Like, look at it from his POV. That's just incredible.
He sees a sliver of a piece of cloth, and that's all he needs. That's just the...
Give it to you.
Honestly, man, that's just the Asian CS reaction time for you. That's all I can say.
They're very good at clicking heads. Mechanically speaking, Tyloo are here to play, but Plessin is as well. Out to middle, walking. And DanKing. Oh, the timing could have been there, but he's smoked out now. He'll drop his molly, receive a boatload of util.
Spicy.
And they're going to try and split B where it's only Summer.
Summer gets taken down, and through the smoke, there was a possibility that they would have pushed through early, but DanKing wants to bet his chips on being able to see something off the top of the boost spot. Instead, slowly, I think he's going to get caught by the player towards middle. It's a difficult angle to check if... Not at all. But are they going to check for Krias? That is such good mental awareness there from Bantet, expecting by the process of elimination, he knows exactly where that player is, and now it's going to come down to a 3 versus 4. Still a favorable duel for the teams, but it's going to get harder. Shocks! He's ripping them apart one by one. The bullets keep connecting heads, and slowly already knows that he doesn't want to be the 4th player on a pike. Backs off. And that is so good from Shocks.
What individuals? We are talking, hyping up Tyloo. Yeah, they can absolutely hit headshots. First of all, respect the awareness there from Bantet, but 3 kills for Shocks in succession like that. I think the guy had such potential. I think at least on this time in Movistar Riders, for the man Shocks, he had so much potential. I don't think it was ever really realized on the international version of the Movistar Riders. But now playing for Finest, he has an opportunity to make his name. Oh, but still an off for DanKing. You still have to keep that into consideration. Pop goes Shocks, another one for DanKing. And he's going to stay mobile. He's going to be able to make his way back on towards the A side of things. Now even on towards Cat.
Honestly, he's theoretically playing this perfectly.
He has to be active, is the biggest thing right here for DanKing. And now he'll be able to single-handedly clear out all of middle. Maybe that can queue up rotations back to A and B. Now that mid's basically clear by Tyloo's standards. I mean, if Bantet...
The problem is that Finest have Molotovs, right?
Yeah,
so they're gonna end up clearing out
is
cars.
Benzet is not in for a fun time. He can tuck a...
Oh?
Ooh. No, he can't survive.
Is there a chance?
Danking, though.
Oh, that's
He's here.
about enough time, and I think at this point, Finest, they start having those gears turning in their heads. They know that Dan King could be around the corner if they do choose to aggress because the AWP
Attacker
has
just snuck out the car, too. Danking gets his kill, but there's also Attacker here.
They're not gonna check it, and Danking, he keeps serving up the distractions, and Narcus has to check later, and Danking in the meantime uses Attacker as bait, and that should be good enough. Tyloo off of the mobilization of 1 AWP, they can wipe up the server.
Oh man, Danking, it's so perfect. He moves in between all the angles, he stays in between the sites. You don't want to commit so early on, but when you see middles clear, you're like, well, I'm just gonna take my time, go to the A site. First of all, Jesus, this man's openers have been insane. But then, you know, just the utilization of Danking for this lineup. I think when I initially saw this player arrive on Tyloo, I had no idea who he was. This was early 2020. But I mean, he immediately just gave me the huge impression. This guy could be just next up from the Asian region. He's by far Tyloo's best player. Now turning this one up. Kriyaz up cat. Danking, you know, you can be a good player, but can you beat an op holding your line?
Pickle to be, and no, Kriyaz is not going to allow you to transgress. Summer waiting right around the corner. Mid-doors is going to be his domain, and he smokes it off too. Allowing himself to get away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're making it very difficult to really move out of this position, but in the meantime, Finest, they've gotten in great positions to be able to work either B or A based on what they want to, and this has denied Tyloo enough information for this to be near perfect for Finest as long as they can play their cards right. The problem, though, is going to be getting past Bantet if they do decide to go towards the inside.
No smokes either, so, you know, Summer is certainly capable in op, formerly the primary op, but now you're going to test Bantet. He is alone, though. This is an isolated fight. Can Bantet hold?
No utility either. This is such a difficult hold. They're trying to sneak in on him. Where are they going to expect him, though? Bantet, he peeks out. His position's been given up. There's no utility coming his way just yet, but it's a bullet to end the deal. Already onto the site. Finest, they are taking the site by storm.
What a bold play from Finest to walk up cat. Silent, no util. And the biggest thing there, let's see, actually, are they going to try and attempt this here for Tyloo? They could.
It's a matter of getting that first couple of shots in. Summer and slowly they get a kill apiece in Shocks and Pleasant. They'll be stuck behind short. This is actually doable if they can play their cards right. All they've got to do is hold the short angle, win those duels while the defuse is taking place, but slowly jumps the gun. He jumps on the defuse very quickly, and there's a second defuse about to happen. Operation Defuse is underway, and it's going to be successful.
You know, oh my gosh.
Oh,
this is always massive angles.
We almost saw.
We've already had one Tyloo moment. We've actually had 3 Tyloo moments this series. I don't want a 4th. So thank you, Tyloo. We can defuse the bomb now. All right, now we can talk about this round because I love the walk up from Finest. They get the kill on the Danking in middle, and they know they can't have an op on the A side. Therefore, slow walking up A is a reasonable play. It can work. Because there's no op to just pick you out in the middle of the open, and you only have Bantet kind of jiggle peeking on timings, and it just doesn't favor him. He's pinned down, pigeonholed in.
Yeah, they pretty much knew that whoever's on the site would have to be gambling. No, that's gonna be a bloodbath. 2 players waiting, but Pleasant gets a couple kills. There's a 3rd insurance policy waiting on the other end, and a Narcus and Kriyaz. I think with these couple of players still alive, they should be able to recover guns and still make this round a bit more palatable.
Yeah, that's not the finest way. Excuse me for the pun.
Fine,
to play a...
Hand me the mic. Don't get to say that.
But look.
Carry on, though.
Look, but that's one of the ways you can play an eco. Is it the best way? Well, of course, you're only expecting not the entire team in tunnels, but maybe a player or 2, so it's not the worst thing in the world, at least tactically speaking. Attackers should have cleared us up. Or, what a monster shot there from Korea. This round is all of a sudden doable here for Roz. 2v2, they group up. If they just move as a concerted unit up long, there's no one who's going to hear the cross. They're going to be able to cross onto the site here.
The only problem here is that HP, Fi. They've got to make it work off of less than
the A
75
site
HP across the board.
The A site is a headshot angle site, though. The HP might not even come to fruition. Korea's...
And they're taking too much time. Look at how much Tyloo...
They don't have
how much
kits.
time Tyloo's going to have to spend.
There's no
Absolutely,
kits.
they don't have the kits either. So with that much time being expended, how are they going to make this work? AK recovered. I think Tyloo have already made the call.
No, this has to be
back off?
I don't think you can even...
That early?
They can't go. There's physically no time. Kit picked up for Dan King. But... He's going to go down.
No.
No.
Kriaz even gets the kill there at the end, so that was the worst case scenario for Tyloo. They lose a round that they were supposed to win. They give up weaponry. They end up going for a retake too late, but they also don't come out with the save. So that was not an attempt, not a save, not a good round. Losing to an eco, like all the boxes that sum up a bad round have been checked all at once, even though they don't even have to be most of the time.
I know Blez somewhere is just tossing and turning in his sleep right here as Tyloo. Oh, I'm not sure what to say right now. Oh yeah, that's something to talk about. Twist lighting him up. Dan King's still in position.
I'm not even sure how he got that much space to be able to do that. Attacker nearly had a sliver to work off of, but he's immediately punished by that AWP waiting on the other end. And Narc is, gets another kill, but Plessin, man, that was still too messy.
I was about to say Dan King is still on the site, and then he just gets zapped. Right now, I mean, talk about it all you want. I think Finest just have great reads on the game. Oh, you can talk, I mean, great read on the game all you want. That's also a fantastic one for Anarchist just to be waiting for slowly, but shots hit by Twist, dude. I mean, these guys on Finest, like, you can kind of see where their spirit beating ability has come from. I mean, you can underestimate all the riflers of this team all you want. Plessin and Twist are flaming, at least Plessin was flaming hot last map. This is some shooting here from Twist.
I'm not even gonna lie, I don't even know where to begin dissecting Vertigo, so I'm really happy that we're seeing a Dust 2, or at least there's enough competition for us to be able to talk about it, because Vertigo, that was a no-show. That was like they hadn't even connected to the server.
I think,
but now, Finest moving over towards long, firing range, but somehow the targets are shooting back. Fair bit of damage. Okay. I'm not even sure how it came down to the 1v2, but alright, they'll take whatever they can get in terms of damage. Not like it matters too much with the T side being in the favor of Finest.
Yeah. I mean, already having an 8 round T side even in this meta in Dust 2 in this economy on Dust 2 is already just perfection here for Finest. You've done enough. Enjoy.
Tyloo's pretty much summed up how you're supposed to play Dust 2 in the first round by sending up 2 players to take control of middle, but then they've just defaulted to playing this very conservatively with the exception of Dan King being mobilized.
Hold on. Let's see what this... I mean, slowly almost getting the opener there could have been something to talk about there for Tyloo. I think the biggest issue so far for Tyloo's situation, this game rather, is they've been misplaying a lot of their micro situations. I think their opening set, like their opening strats have been just perfectly fine, but when it comes down to, you know, the 3v3s and... I'll say it, leaving the bomb in spawn and not having time to play. Like, there have been just some blunders in mid-late round situations, but their opening setups and their ideas have been perfectly fine. Let's see if the shots can be landed here for Dan King. He will have to be back. He will have to be forced away by the mollies and the good utility tossed up by Finest. But I like this re-aggression potential. I love a boost even. I love these ideas.
That is such an off-angle peek. And it's so unfortunate that he can't get a kill off of that, because that would have potentially saved the day. But fine, it's now they know they've got to make a play happen. They've got to move in. They've got 35 seconds on the clock, and Plessin, the AWP player, is low. 3 players on the other side waiting on the A site. But the bomb is actually making its way towards middle. Kriaz jumping down into CT. It's going to be so difficult for Tyloo to hold on to their horses. Waiting in tunnels, slowly manages to get a kill, and he's the last line of defense, lurking around the smoke, managing to get a couple more shots in, but the bomb successfully goes down. 3 versus 2, danking an attacker. They've got to make the call happen very quickly. Are they going to go for this retake? They don't want to be in the position where they make this blunder once again.
And they're not going to even go for it here for Tyloo. Man. 9-4. This is kind of brutal, even though Slowly tries his hardest on the hold. It just doesn't work out as intended. I think we're getting a Vertigo repeat here. Again, it's so disheartening to see the ideas for Tyloo just go out the window. The boost on towards Cat was, I mean, really cool.
That was good.
And should have worked. Except for the fact he fell off the boost just as he got peaked. It's like they were just, it's like we were this close to brilliance. You know, that's that.
Yeah, there's something to take from.
We
all
were
of
on the
this,
verge
right?
of greatness.
If you look at Vertigo, the prime example of what's breaking down in Tyloo is probably that one round where they dropped the bomb, they all huddled up in a corridor, and they tried to take one peek after the other with just pistols. That's not a place where your macro is breaking down. That's not a place where something else is breaking down. That's not the individuals breaking down. That's just micro communication, the inability to play off of your teammates and to have somebody to be able to veto a specific play. I think that's what's breaking down there, because you could see how they were approaching the bomb, and you can see how they're approaching these little duels. Like, when they obviously that was an extreme example when we come to Vertigo, when we talk about the bomb being dropped in spawn or the bomb being dropped and them taking duels. You can also see smaller examples of this turn up on Dust 2, where they're not sure if they want to retake, they're not sure if they want to save. What do? They take the middle of the road approach, which gives them the worst of both worlds. That just comes down to micro communication, because they're not making the plays fast enough for either play to actually work.
Yeah, it's just sometimes unable to just make the snap decisions, right, in these situations to say, we need to commit. I think there's been a lot of hesitation from the Tyloo camp in these micro situations. Sometimes, I mean, there's a saying that goes out there that is, sometimes it's better to make a bad decision than no decision, right? I mean, if you could say, if you do stupid stuff together, it might work as a team. If you have a
bad plan is
a bad plan.
no plan.
Yeah, a bad plan is better than no plan. There, I mean,
and this actually really ties in with like fundamental CS:GO theory. When you talk about playing as an individual, for example, if you're stuck on middle and you're not sure where the bomb is going to be, you don't know whether you should go to A or B. The worst thing you could possibly do is just play towards middle. If it's a 1 versus 1, and like all things considered equal, of course. If you just play down middle, what's going to end up happening is that you allow the T to either comfortably get on B, either comfortably get on A, or just outright kill you. So the best thing you can do is take that 50-50 gamble and stay on a site. So you either have a 100% chance of winning the duel because the terrorist walks into you, or you risk having to take a long retake because you're on the wrong bomb site. 50-50 is a lot better than losing 100% of the time, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of distinction, it's a diluted version of what's happening to Tyloo right now, because they're breaking down on a multiple person level.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just a couple individuals having that happen to them. Just as a framework, Tyloo is breaking down because of these micro communications not really having a tether to them.
Yeah. I think that's certainly a point to toss out there. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the shots that they're hitting. I mean, dude, Danking is having an on-fire game. Lights out from this guy. When he's given opportunities, boy, just take advantage of it. I mean, respect it for Tyloo, but I think the opening playbook. I mean, they have Letney coming in as a coach as well for Tyloo, formerly the IGL of teams like Crazy, Valiance, Contact Gaming. If people want to remember that portion of Letney's career, I don't think it's the perfect one, but I'll remember the crazy days back in 2019. He was actually genuinely like maybe a top 10 IGL in EU. So now taking on coaching duties over at the side of Tyloo. I think the opening scrapbook for Tyloo has been fantastic, to say the least. Just gotta make these rounds, tie them together. You can't go into the Asian CS compilation anymore. You gotta reform, my friends. But starting things off, it's not great. It's a tag on a summer. But again, they're dominating mid control. I like this here from Tyloo. And Finest have no idea. Finest have no idea if Tyloo have pushed up middle or not. So, right?
That's fine, though, because that's the kind of game plan they're going for. They're completely abandoning middle in lieu of the fact that if they end up going towards A, they're going to have an easy time taking it entirely. So, sure, Tyloo has mid control, but what are you even going to do with it?
Well, the thing is, now for Finest, you're going to start panicking. You don't have mid control, and all of a sudden your mid lurk has just died. So, what do? Well, shoot, we have our map control one way. I kind of just want to hit the gas and jeez.
Slowly, the barbershop's open and slowly is handing out free haircuts. Finest, on the other hand, they're looking for a refund, grabbing their weapons. Now they want to head towards the A site. 45 seconds.
They have them boxed.
They should be making a much hastier play. As long as they can get past Bandit, I think something can be cooked up, but the ingredients are still missing.
Everyone's here. Everyone is here for Tyloo. But not tanking.
Ooh, twist! That was brutal, but can he follow it up with another? Molotov knocking the scout out of position. Things are breaking apart once again. Tyloo holding on by a thread because Bandit still has the hand cannon. 3 players to 5. Bomb is dropped. Doesn't connect the first one. Still looking desperate, looking to peek out. Getting a couple shots in, but that is not going to be enough. Finest double digits, and we might just be seeing yet another Vertigo.
Oh, man. It's just... That round's just depressing. I don't know what else to say about that. 3v5. You're on the verge of a half 5 victory here for Tyloo. You have made the right call. You have 4 players posted on the A site, and you got dissected like you're in science class. I mean, dude.
You're the frog in science class. Okay.
Crazy. That's crazy shots being hit here by Tyloo. But then they just get disassembled, man. I'll just say it. Tragic.
One round to go.
I tell you. I just imagine Bleh casting this game long time ago, before I even started casting. If Bleh is watching this, then shout outs to him. But I enjoyed his compilations of him getting angry at Asian CS, and I understand where his frustrations come from.
I've actually been a part of Asian CS my whole life.
Yeah,
course,
that is true.
As well, and listen, man, the frustration is very valid. Does that fully apply to Tyloo just yet? I'm not too sure about that because honestly, they've been having some really bad moments. A couple of them at least.
That's in a shot.
Now
Okay.
Bandit wants to shine. Oh, okay, that is on fire. M4 starting to come to life for Bandit. And Tyloo, one of the very rare scenarios where they actually find themselves with a leg up.
I think they found themselves with a leg up a lot of the time here.
Okay.
Come on.
Yet another
You gotta close this round
and,
out.
Yeah, even with 5 rounds, though, knowing that you're going to be heading into the T side and with the loss of Vertigo, my hopes are not high for this roster right now. It's
not pretty.
For this game, at least.
Oh, hold on. Things could get weird. Things could get very weird, but okay. And Arc is 1v3. This man is a playmaker, don't get me wrong, but this is still a tough ask. Okay!
Whoa, lightning fast flick, and the bomb still has time to go down. Immediately wants to be interrupted, though, and Bandit doesn't want to allow Narcus to have any more say in the matter.
All right. I wanted to hype him up there for a little bit there, but of course the time runs too low, so he's forced to plant the bomb. But that's the way it goes. 10-5, though, for Tyloo. I mean, dude, if you're Finest, you are still just loving this T-side start. CT sides on Dust 2 these days have been at least quite favorable. all things said. I mean, again, you still get beautiful moments at a Tyloo like this. And then still, there's almost a way that round falls out of hand. There's a universe where Anarchus wins that. Like, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, maybe if had one more second before Bantet walked through the door, he gets a chance to reposition himself with the AWP. Something works off of that. But now the pistol round is of the essence. If they can't manage to land that pistol round in their front pocket, it's over for Tyloo. I'm sorry, but you're not going to have 1 million doors to reapproach the game from. At some point, you've just got to let the leash go. Finest fully locked in, focused. You can see the players are not messing around anymore. I think on Vertigo, they started to recline a little bit. They started to joke around, but they know that giving up a series like this one would be atrocious. There's no coming back from that. They've got no excuses, and they want to shut Tyloo down in their tracks. Up tunnels goes Shocks. Get that early control, but he knows. Pleasant and Shocks know not to aggress too far in.
Oh, look at this twist, though. Are they going to continue the push? No, they're just going to hold. They're going to take their extremity. They have a if they make presence on one part of the map, then this long push is going to start.
That is such a good way from Finest to play it out. Choking up either extremity of the map. And Tyloo, they've got to be feeling suffocated. That dragon is more of a household lizard right now.
1v3 here for Attacker. You know, admittedly, he did have a 1v1 on the A site. Now he has a 1v1 in spawn, but it's Pleasant. You don't lose those. 11 of 5 right now, rocking for Finest.
You see that composure, Fi? The fact that they know exactly how much to aggress. They go up tunnels. They set 2 players up, and they're like, all right, we've got pushes in long, we've got pushes in tunnels. We don't need to aggress. We've got all the information in the world. It's literally just about pressing mouse 1 at the right time. because they preemptively make all the right decisions.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how this team beat Spirit just yesterday. I think that was a humongous surprise. Well, this one isn't. Forced by brought in Tyloo, and it's about going as expected, folks. I mean, you can see just straight confidence, discipline. I mean, Tyloo can hit a headshot, I'll tell you that, but they're going to need to hit 5 more, or 4 more. 5 more if they take down a teammate.
The problem with being in this scenario is that Tyloo was actually favored going into this game.
I think what we were seeing on the break screen there was actually reversed. I'm pretty darn sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was fine, but it was only a very small favorability to Finest.
Yeah, it doesn't really change my point at all, right? It's like Tyloo wasn't this unfavored in any case. Even if it was like a 60-40 split, or even if it was a 70-30 split, this is not looking like even a 70-30 game.
I mean, I think there was still some doubt about Finest. They thought, oh, that win versus Spirit, it ought to be a fluke. I wonder what's gone on with this group of guys the past couple of days. Has it really been I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, just as a team, the Team Finest are just more well-rounded, at least in terms of all stages of the game, than Tyloo are at their rate. I mean, if Tyloo converted all their advantages, they would certainly be like a top 20 team. I'd be sure. I mean, you know what? I can say that probably for a lot of teams out there that could be a top 20 team. They just kind of need to get that across. That's for sure. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll hope. But right now, I don't think much is going to change here for Tyloo. Even Attacker's going to go after time.
That's money. That is money down the drain. That's the big one. It doesn't matter if you've gotten so many kills on the way out. That leaves you with 1,200. That cannot feel good. And
well, on today's episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, if you want to bet on Tyloo, that'll be quite fun.
It'll be fun, but it won't be profitable. If your idea of fun is having a terrible day. Some people are into that, you know?
You know? We'll see it. Alright, let's just get this pistol round, this eco round done and dusted. See if Tyloo can at least instill some belief. You know, all I want to see is them get a lead, close out some lead, get some clean rounds before you're... I mean, I'm not going to say they're done just yet. You know, 13 to 5. There have been teams that have come back from 13 to 5. I've done it in my open games, believe it or not. I IGL'd my team to down from a 13-5 deficit. But this is far from you know, North American Open. ECA
Yeah, fine.
Open,
It doesn't count if the collective elo of your entire team is 2,000, okay?
That is probably true, yes. Let's see if they can bring the heat. Okay, that's finally a start. Can they group onto that and take this to long? They've set in the stakes in towards long right here.
Ooh.
For the side of Tyloo. They have a man advantage. This is prime territory to clean up this round.
There's a long way to go, though. I mean, they've got to go up a long. They've got to be bold in the face of being down 5
an angle?
13. Apparently. New information every single day, and I've got 7,000 hours on this game. Moving up long now. Tyloo, they want to clear every single angle. With a minute and 10 seconds on the clock, they definitely have the privilege to be able to do just that. Bandit, second, they landed. Pleasant, great little angle for him to start things up, but MP9, that is not going to be favorable at all. And Finest, they already know. The guns are back in their cases, ready to be shipped off, because this is not a duel they're taking right here. Grab the nearest train, and you're out.
All right. They got their round. They got their opener. They grabbed onto that opener. They transitioned into a side execute. Ba-bang. Clean. Done. Now do that. I'll check my stopwatch. 10 more times. It's going to be a little bit more here from Tyloo. Genuinely said. Now, I'll start believing when they hit double digits. For us, I'm not going to start saying their praises just yet. But, you know, just think about it round by round. That's all I'm going to say. That's a start. But first, I mean, we haven't even gotten to an Anarchist AWP yet. I think it's a little too early to call Tyloo. They're on the comeback trail. This round will definitely mean something, though. If you can get past Anarchist himself. Have you watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? I think Anarchist...
No, I haven't. I mean...
Okay. I'm trying to make anime references here on broadcast, but...
That was your first mistake. I mean,
That
not
was-
the references part, the
Whoops.
watching anime part.
Oh, what? Look, let's talk about that a little bit later. Because we actually have a little bit of a long play going down. 3 players here for Finest, and one of them's going to open up. It's Twist. This time around, it doesn't go to the favor of Tyloo.
Absolutely not. And Tyloo, they are split like a hair. They've got 2 players all the way on the B site. They've got 2 players huddling around long. They can kind of make any decision they want to because they're so far spread apart, but either decision they take is not going to have very fruitful outcomes simply because there simply isn't enough strength in numbers, but they're going to have to regroup sooner or later. Minute and 10 seconds on the clock allows them to very comfortably take control of middle if they want to. This short player is not going to make things easy, though, because Anarchist with his AWP, he's going to try to keep an eye on lower tunnels as the Pleasant second AWP. That makes things even harder. And you said it, your stopwatch. I mean, they have to chain together 10 rounds with attacker already down and Finest having a vice grip on each area of the map. It's going to be tough, man.
40 seconds, clock ticking. Pleasant. Okay, wait, but Anarchist goes down. A wallbang. A good tag there. Landed up, and there's also still 2 players here on this A side. Twist. Boy, is he getting aggressive. Pleasant the same. He can cut all this off. Cat aggression. Oh, filthy.
Oh, that is such a good flashbang. Danking slowly. They do not see the light of day, but they will see the light of the flashbang. Kills being lined up again. And
what a round.
Tyloo, before they even get to double digits. Finest. They've only got to get a couple more rounds. This is about as over as Vertigo was.
All right, on to your next episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Tyloo, 92.88. That is, if you put 1 of any currency, you'll get about 100 back. Seems like good odds to me. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah, unless you're watching the game. Like, those are amazing odds if the screen is blacked out.
Yeah, I feel, you know, finest, just, you know, unplug all their computers and decide, I want to go get lunch.
Me? Oh, me? As a blind bettor, I actually make all of my money on Tyloo. I also don't know how much money is in my bank account because I am, of course, blind.
But, you know, okay. I mean, hey, for Tyloo, they're in a bit of a bind, is the way to phrase it. They're facing off the double op setup of Team Finest to close things down, 14-6. I mean, look, they are coming off a bit of a break, and they haven't had a lot of time in EU, so to speak, just yet. I still think they can definitely make things happen. And good. They've pressured off the op of Anarchas. I mean, you know, what I want to talk about this team is when I saw Twist, like, start rifling, back on Galaxy Racer for this guy, and now on Finest, I thought he was, like, one of the weirdest things ever. Guy who's been a primary op for vast majority of his career on teams like Fnatic and NIP. And he has been destroying on rifles. I'll just give it to him. What a come up for the guy. And then you got players like Kriaz, and then you also have Anarchas. 3-5 here for us. I'll let you close this one down.
Yeah, I think Finest are probably going to close this one out on their own. I don't even think they need my input to be able to do just that. Bantet and Summer scrapping together for the bomb. It's over. It's just a matter of time ticking down. Kriaz, great position. And they're just punching down at this point. It's like we're waiting for the referee to call it, but they keep receiving punches.
Rule. Get it in there. Kriaz is going to lock him in. They were boxed from the beginning there. I mean, they got all spotted out towards middle. The long push comes through. I feel like, I mean, in some ways, Tyloo have been kind of diffed here. I think there have been, I mean, first of all, the snap decisions in the mid-round from Team Finest have been creative. That's for sure. I think they have a good visual of what their opponent's doing in a lot of these rounds. And, I mean, just far superior mid-rounding is the way to say it here for Team Finest. I mean, we're going to get an interview with the players, and I'd totally like to ask them, you know, not just how they won this game, but how they beat Team Spirit. Because you can definitely see where the energy has come from. So, alright, potentially a final round. It's very going to throw it into a B-rush here.
Just going to begin mow down. I mean, Shox very quickly takes down the players apart, and that's just Dan King remaining, AK in hand, smoke covering his vision, and just waiting for that AWP to connect. That's going to be it. 16-6. Finest close it out without letting Tyloo get more than 10 rounds across the entire series. Incredible showing of skill, and that's why Finest will proceed.
I like the nostalgia filter going there for Anarchas, but yeah, what a fantastic series there from Finest. You know, far superior mid-rounds. There were some times where, you know, the early round plays from Tyloo, you know, they were reasonable, and they might have had a couple of advantages to work with there. But, you know, the tough luck is oh my, he's using like an old, was he just using like an old Logitech mouse there?
No, that was a custom G Pro, okay?
Okay, I was thinking like it did he like draw all over it? Also, myself.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so anyways. But, alright, sorry. I just wanted to say that. But for Team Finest, you know, they matched Tyloo on the early rounds, but in the mid-round, late rounds, they absolutely dominated. I think we just came up and showed us that, you know, they are a cohesive unit. They you know, they're an international team. There aren't many international teams out there who can perform to this degree and be cohesive, and they've overcome one of those challenges. They've taken down Spirit, they're riding the momentum, and now they're running to the semifinals here for Oz.
And there's good reason for that. They've honestly shown so much promise, and you know what? When we started this game, I talked about how Pleasant and Twist probably are in the same boat as Bantet, where they still need time to adjust to the team and all that. But you know what? With their win against Spirit, I was being a bit of a pessimist, right? Yeah. I thought I was taking a bit of credit away from them. I thought maybe Spirit that was a bit of a luck factor. Yeah, all of that. Like, I was basically an HLTV comment at that point. But now I'm starting to believe, because against a team like Tyloo, I know that Tyloo isn't like a benchmark team to play against, but if you can very easily beat out the lower tier competition, that just sets your foot down as somebody that is a higher tier, and that's exactly what they've done here. Amazing showing. Pleasant had a great game. Finest, they played like a unit. They had some incredible mid-rounding that completely overshadowed anything that Tyloo put out. And I think there was a big contrast between the panic of Tyloo versus the amazing, put-together, composure-based gameplay of Team Finest. So, honestly, congratulations to them. They definitely deserve to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, the riflers for Finest as well. I think just on paper, some of these guys go so under the radar and so underrated. Plessen with an absolutely fiending Vertigo, a 2.0 rating Vertigo. And I think Twist has to go up there as well as probably a very highly rated Dust 2. So, yeah, well, now you can see Finest are moving right along into... They're walking right into the semifinals of this event. And just looking at their potential opposition, we could see Team Finest walking into a grand final if they keep up this form.
Especially with the kind of competition they've been surrounded with, I think a lot of teams aren't really on their uptick in terms of performance, and with Finest actually being able to time their upwards trend in performance right with this kind of tournament, I think they're in a prime position to be able to capitalize on their players to leverage a win out of this one. And you know what? There's still a lot of unanswered questions about this team, but why don't you take it away, Fi? Maybe we can get some information straight out from the source.
Yeah, we're going to be going ahead and interviewing, I believe we have Shocks on the line, if I get that correct. We do. And, well, hey, Shocks. Well, congrats on the win, first and foremost. But I think a lot of your buzz came yesterday, at least on Twitter. You guys pulled off a massive upset versus Spirit. So I want to touch base on that. How has that fueled your team?
I mean, it was definitely a huge boost. We've had some disappointing results recently, so beating like a major, it was semi-finalist, I think, team was amazing, and they were ranked 6 as well, so it was definitely a huge boost for the morale of the team.
I think another like touching base on that. How do you think that how do you think you beat them? Was it like, did you outplay them team wise? Did you like your mechanics? I think is most definitely noted as at least in my opinion, as one of the higher mechanically skilled players on your squad. How do you think what contributed to that win?
I mean, I think that game had a lot of factors in it. Them just freshly coming off of a major, just having traveled home, I think, definitely played a huge part. We definitely prepared a lot for that game. We did 3 days of preparation pretty much, so we know almost everything going into the game, and I don't think they did the same amount of preparation simply because of, you know, putting so much energy into the major and stuff like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I think like thanks to all the factors, we ended up winning the game. We were super fresh and just super prepared for the game.
Yeah, and I mean, how is that translated over here? It's clean, easy 2-0 over Tyloo. I mean, is that the momentum transitioning over? Did you do any prep for Tyloo, or are we just looking at you guys playing your raw CS?
Yeah, I mean, talking about the prep for Tyloo, we mostly know their game style like going into the game. They played the same for a long time now.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're definitely building off of the momentum from yesterday. You can see like Plessen going crazy in Vertigo, and yeah, we definitely had the momentum on our side still from yesterday.
Yeah, and okay. I think we'll just go ahead and move that along. I mean, Dust 2. I think so many of your riflers go underrated, honestly. I think like for Plessen and Twist, I mean, in terms of those guys, Twist being a former primary opper, I think just for your guys, your teammates, get a good shout out. Final question as we move on. You're now a semi-finalist. Do you feel confident that your potential opponent will be Movistar Riders or Isurus? Do you feel confident that you could be a grand finalist?
Oh yeah, I think we have a huge chance to like go into the final and even take the final. I mean, it's going to come down to the day, of course. I mean, everything can happen, but we have a huge chance to take the grand finals.
Yep. All right, that's going to do it here for the interview. Keep that headshot percentage high here, Shocks. We'll see you later down the stretch in the tournament. Very appreciated.
Thank you.
All right. I mean, got some words from him himself. He put in a lot of prep in for Spirit. That's good to see. Finest putting their hammer to the nail and knocking that one away and putting a really solid series on their line here. They can continue this run down the stretch. I think there's a lot this team has to offer.
Absolutely, and I think that insight, knowing that they can play off of their they can play off of their momentum, but also integrate all of their information that they've been gathering on the opponents into that kind of playstyle, that is a deadly team. Because sometimes you can see these teams being polarized into like either a team that's doing like a lot of research or a team that's like basing itself off of momentum. If you can bring those two together, you can potentially start hitting those tier 1 marks. But I think we're going to be calling it here, Fi. So anything you want to close it out with?
Well, our next series is coming up just around the corner. I will give it to that one. It was a quick series, all things said, and it might be starting a little bit earlier. So you know, you might have it mentioned at, I believe it would be 1300 CEST, but it's going to be moved up a tad bit. So you guys don't want to miss it. It's going to be Eternal Fire taking on SKADE. That one's going to be a banger, as Eternal Fire are coming right off the bench post major. See how they look. But I think Hap, myself, and Wild DD, we'll see you guys in just a bit, so you don't want to go anywhere.
Withdrawing with AstroPay is really simple. Go to your favorite site and choose AstroPay as withdrawal method. Then type the amount that you want to withdraw, type your mobile number, and click on the Confirm button. Now, enter your wallet with your usual credentials and your money is available in your wallet now. Decide if you want to extract money or buy on your favorite sites. Get the app in your favorite store or visit us at www.astropay.com.